Hello, welcome to PODnas. This is a sports show with a Southern flair. I'm Daniel Hawks. That's Jared Roser. And today we are going to do our PODnas Pick 7, go over that lovely Pelicans first win of the season, and we're going to let you guys know who won the play of the week. Jared, how you doing? How you feeling? It's Friday when this is airing, but not today recording.
It's not Friday. It's also not.
I'm trying to do this for the people. Okay,
it's not a cool 10:30 right now. By the way,
well, it's a cool 10:49. That's when we're recording this PM. By the way, we do stuff late here.
No, we do not. I'll be, I think, on my way to Alexandria at 10:49 p.m. tonight.
Yeah, I will also be on my way to a hangover at 10:49 tonight. So let's see.
Are you heading down to Hammond, Louisiana this weekend for the Lions' big home game against Incarnate Word?
Is the Buzz still open in Hammond, or does that thing seen its day? Do we know?
I have no idea.
Okay,
I've never been to the Buzz. I just know of the Buzz.
Man, I just remember whenever I was a freshman there, and we'd go to the Buzz on Thursdays, and definitely not underage drink at all. But the guy at the end of the night would be like, "Yeah, that's what she looks like with the lights on. Thanks for coming to the Buzz." Blah blah blah. That's etched in my mind for forever. So that's how we're starting this episode, by the way.
As I mentioned, I wasn't there, but I feel like you nailed the voice just having been in other places throughout the years. And I think you have a great career in
bar DJing.
Yeah.
Thanks.
I don't even know if you need to DJ, but you need to be the voice. Next on the main stage
is Cinnamon. Make sure you get those dollar bills out, guys. We are gonna give them to her. Real. Right. Okay, let's get this going. So our PODnas Pick 7, we do this every week. Jarrett, last week you killed me. It wasn't fun.
Just last week?
Okay, you're just in the lead in general. All right. So I'm gonna try and do a little bit better this week. Let's get this thing going.
You can't do a whole lot worse, can you?
Shut up. First off, we're going to go over the LSU versus Texas A&M game. Number 8 LSU at number 14 Texas A&M. The game's on 6:30 on ABC.
Thumbs down?
Thumbs down. I don't think A&M's going to win. I just don't want them to win. I don't like anything about them. And
that feels like a thumbs up.
How are we so far off the rails? And we're like 2 minutes in, by the way.
I'm on some Dayquil, so that's part of the problem.
You and Bill Simmons are out here just not raw dog in life, apparently. So I should try that. But I think it's going to be a tough game. I mean, obviously going into Kyle Field, it is a tough place to play. A&M is a very good team. I really like what I've seen from this LSU team the last couple of weeks. We've talked about this many times before, but that kind of business-like mentality that they're going through each week. And I just think we're better than A&M. And I'm including me as an LSU alum and including every Texas A&M alum in that statement. We're better. So
that's going to be the new university mantra whenever they do a rebrand and
I can't wait. I can't wait. And I don't even need to get paid for it. I just, give me a little wink from the sideline. Like whenever Brian Kelly catches a camera, just,
ting.
Yeah. I just think our skill positions are better. I think the defense has been playing so well. I think that kind of carries over. And I think we have a better quarterback. I think we have better receivers. I think LSU has better running backs. And I think and a better offensive line. I just think that offense is much better than what A&M is going to bring to the table. And I think they'll outlast them.
I agree with most of that, honestly. We talked on Tuesday, I guess it ended up being, after my internet issues earlier in the week, about LSU starting to look like more of the complete and cohesive and complementary team and whatnot that Brian Kelly and company had been chasing for a lot of this season, and they're just getting that much closer to that. And I think right now that this LSU team is a more complete team than the A&M team they're going to face. If they go out there and they execute, and that's been kind of a big piece of the conversation this week after the season high penalty dynamics on the road at Arkansas last week, and with some of the issues in some recent trips out to College Station, that they need to go and handle an atmosphere that is a really challenging atmosphere. As much as we take shots at the Aggies fans and the way they go about it, at the end of the day, they do make it a tough place to play. And they have won the last 3 games there against LSU after LSU dominated that series for years when A&M joined the SEC. Something in that 7 overtime game seemed to kind of flip a switch where all of a sudden the Aggies felt like they could win against the Tigers. And now they haven't been able to come to Baton Rouge and win, but they have won the last 3 in College Station. And so LSU needs to go out there, take care of what it can control, play up to its standard, not shoot itself in the foot. But if it does that, I agree with a lot of what you're saying in terms of offensive line slowing down that A&M rush, trusting Garrett Nussmeier and his weapons to make plays, the emergence of Caden Durham bringing some balance to that team and having that explosive threat from the backfield is huge, and the defense is playing great. Baton Rouge native Le'Veon Moss has been really big for A&M, particularly filling in for an injured Reuben Owens and shouldering that much bigger of a load. Wegman's been solid, but I think if LSU's defense plays the way we've seen the last couple of weeks, it can really slow those guys down in a way that the A&M defense will not be able to do with LSU.
Great. Both going with LSU there, so I'm not gaining any ground on you there. So let's go to this next game.
Well, your other option is to pick the Aggies.
Nope. No. How about that? Big old pile of nope on that. Big old thumbs down. All right. Great. Cool.
Yeah, I got nothing more. I was just gonna let you cook on nope.
I appreciate you. I appreciate you letting me get in the kitchen for a bit, Next up, Tulane at North Texas. It's going to be an 11 a.m. game. Another 11 a.m. game for Tulane. Feels like they live in that slot.
Breakfast wave all season long.
Yeah, that's a really good. Are they calling it that?
I don't know.
Because they should. Oh my goodness. Breakfast wave. Oh my God. Like, come on.
Also, to be fair, I know you work in the service industry late night in Chicago and whatnot, but I think a lot of people have had breakfast hours before 11 a.m.
Still, it's an AM game. You're going to call it lunch wave? The ring is not the same. It's got to be breakfast wave. All right. From a marketing standpoint, let's be honest. But Tulane is going to North Texas, 11 a.m. It's going to be on the ESPN2. Tulane looks really good. And I don't know much about this North Texas team, but from what I've watched of Tulane after, and even in the Kansas State and Oklahoma games, I really don't see them losing in conference. That's just how I kind of feel about it. So I'm going to pick the breakfast wave.
They've got to play better at North Texas than they did this week at home against Rice. North Texas is a team that has scored 40 or more in its last 4 games. I mean, over a month now, they have at least scored 40, if not 50 in these games. And I think the good news is, even with some struggles, ups and downs, however you want to frame it, just, some inefficiencies of the Tulane offense this past week, the defense was still real strong, and that should travel the same way we've seen it travel pretty much everywhere. And so I think that North Texas streak ends certainly this week, and that they're not going to hang 40 on a really good Tulane team. And I also think Mensa and company are equipped to obviously play at a much higher level and have more success finishing drives. So yeah, Tulane on the road, another morning win.
Tulane opened up as a 9.5 point favorite, and it's gone down to 8. So, it has come down a little bit, but they still are that, technically a score and a 2-point conversion favorite. And I think everything that you just said is what's going to play out. But hey, who knows? I've been wrong before. But
yeah,
you're Mr. Right. You're Mr. Right. So why not, Tank? I was trying to give you a head nod, but I went the opposite direction. Next up, we have 21 Mizzou at number 15 Bama. Bama trying to not suck, which has been lovely. It's going to be 2:30 on ABC.
Would you shut up? I'm trying to talk to Daniel. A damn cat. You have not seen the Paul Feinbaum video of a caller. No. Okay, well, talking about Bama felt like the right time to do that. I'm now glad that you haven't seen the video.
Oh, I'm gonna be honest. We got some content in this episode already. So
Yeah. Anyway, as you were saying, Tigers and Tide.
Tigers and Tide. They're gonna have to play 2 Tigers in a row. I don't know what to do with this Alabama team. I don't know what to do with them.
Neither is Kalen DeBoer.
I don't know if they're going to come out prepared or if they're going to come out like they have the last 3 weeks. Because that game against Georgia, the first half specifically, just looked like they were going to roll over everyone. And then obviously we know what happens in that game. Georgia comes back, but Alabama pulls it out. Then Alabama goes on this weird skid where it's like, not only are they playing down to whoever that they are playing, but they look like they can't, their defense looks horrendous. Like their defense doesn't look good at all. They can get passed on, they can get run on. And that's just a very weird thing to see from a team and a university that has been so dominant for the last, 2 decades, however long Nick Saban was there.
They're getting out schemed in ways that it's really weird to watch an Alabama team get out coached at some turns.
And also Milroe is just making such poor decisions where it is like I've called the last 3 interceptions because they've just looked at it's been like, oh, that's a bad throw. That's going to, oh, it got picked off. All right. Yeah. Well, no, that makes sense. All those things make sense. I am reluctantly going to pick Bama, but that's only because I don't want to go into next week with them being mad. That's my hope and that's my passion. It's not very, I don't have anything stats wise or anything. It's just like a hope and a dream of mine that they don't come in pissed off to Tiger Stadium next week.
Yeah, I don't know what to make of this game either. And I mean, long story short, I'm going to land where you did and just take the Tide at home. But I think this is a game that should be far more concerning for Alabama fans right now than what they would have liked to have envisioned at this point in the season, because I think that Missouri team is going to be able to make some plays downfield and put some points on the board in spots against Alabama the way that we haven't seen necessarily be the case in recent years. And you do suddenly get to a point where the room for error is so low that if you have a Milroe miscue or something here or there, that things could get real dodgy for the Tide in a hurry on Saturday.
Have you noticed that the Bama fans too are acting like very LeBron Miami Heat-ish? Like LeBron, like that Miami fans, where it's like if they I've just noticed in the home game, I think it was the home game versus South Carolina where they almost lost. They weren't winning, and like the crowd was just out of it and like just in awe of like what was happening. And then they weren't a factor. And like in that stadium, it is such a hard place to play. And it feels like they are just on such a high horse and can't get off of it, that I don't know what's happening with those Alabama fans, but like they're coming in just with expectations. And then as soon as those expectations aren't met, or it's more of a dogfight, they just aren't there. And
yeah, like, well, look, fan bases get spoiled in a hurry, and Alabama has been real good for a real long time. And so you have a generation or generations of fans that have no idea what to do with what they're watching right now, which is quite frankly on par with most of where college football is right now, where there's a level of inconsistency. And I still think Alabama is very much in the mix for a potential college football playoff spot, but there's a lot of fans in that fan base right now that I'm sure are so used to the literal GOAT of the game of Nick Saban as a coach, leading that team to being a machine for decades, that now that they're not watching that, it's kind of a shock to the system. And they really, a lot of people probably have no idea how to handle any of it.
And listen, I love it. Okay. Let's just
Oh
make no
yeah,
bones about it. I love
sure.
it. Like, please, like, flounder more. That's what I would like to see. All right. Next up, we have McNeese is taking on Nichols. We got two Louisiana schools going head to head. 3 p.m. Going to be on ESPN Plus if you want to watch it. Hey, I'm going to let you cook on this. Get in the kitchen. All right. Get in there and stir
Look,
it up. Oh, curse jar.
yeah, you
Damn.
that was the weakest slip of a curse jar. I didn't even realize it was happening. I almost had a double take in real time.
Oh, it's been so long. I've been so good, but now we're cursing. So here we go.
Credit to look, I had high expectations for this Nichols State team coming in, and we saw flashes of exactly why in Tiger Stadium, where you see the defense able to slow down LSU's really good offense for a little bit there, and more than that, the Nichols State running game really putting in work the way that they have in recent years. McNeese State, credit to those guys for overcoming some early ups and downs to where they now are sitting in a solid position as we get into the thick of this Southland Conference race. I think actually McNeese has a better record right now. I think they're 4-3, and I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, and Nichols is 4-4. But
you got that flipped. McNeese is 4-4. Nichols is 3-4.
Okay. But yeah, this game is suddenly more interesting to me than it felt like it would be there in the first couple of weeks of the season. But I still like Nichols State, and particularly Nichols State at home down the bayou for Tim Rebo and company to pull this thing out. Probably we'll see some more of those big Googs runs along the way somewhere.
Listen, I gotta catch up. So that my only reason for picking this is I need some points. So I'm going McNeese.
I wasn't sure if you were letting me pick first because you just didn't have anything to say about them, or because you were just
going to go the
regardless.
opposite of you regardless. I think this Nichols team is very talented. Do not know too much about this McNeese team. I have not followed up on them as well, but looking at Nichols' last 5 games, it feels like they've been very inconsistent, putting up 51 on Southern and then losing 55-10 to what is that? Incarnate.
Did you just curse again?
Nope.
What's the name of that school out in San Antonio,
It is Dumb School Name. That's the name of it. Dumb School Name. They got boat raced by them. Beat up on Northwestern State. So it feels like a little bit of up and down. I think maybe that inconsistency might show itself, and McNeese can pounce on that.
Yeah. I agree.
God, two weak curse jars. So bad. Oh, we got to get better. We got to get better.
The only game that I had a chance to see in, more than just like a clip here or there was the opener. A tough loss for McNeese State to start the season, and I've only seen some clips here and there since then. But I like their defense. Micah Davey, a guy like yourself, a U-High alumnus out there, Rohan's son, is leading what I think is a solid defense from what I've seen. And you've seen some flashes at times with Clifton McDowell, the transfer quarterback from Montana, and some of his weapons around him. Matthew McAllister, I saw have a big play early in the season. I don't know how that season has progressed for him, the former West Monroe star and signee initially with Louisiana Tech. And then Jermichael Carter, I know has been, from a statistics wise in the Southland Conference, been a big play weapon for those guys, the former Kentwood star. And so they have the ability certainly to go down there and make some plays and make things difficult. I'm really interested to see the Guggenheim and the run game aspect of Nichols versus Micah Davey and company slowing them down from that McNeese State defense. But to your point, I think home game for a team that's a little bit more established in Nichols State, I trust them to pull it out and be more consistent for 4 quarters.
Absolutely. Next up, we've got 5 Texas at 25 Vandy, 3:15 SEC Network.
The ranked matchup at Vanderbilt.
Oh, that's so weird. Last time a ranked team came into Vanderbilt, didn't work out so well for them,
Yeah. Look, you don't just go in to Nashville, Tennessee and expect to get a win. Nashville, Tennessee is where bachelorettes go to live and top 5 teams' dreams go to die. All
exactly.
right?
Exactly. And with all that being said, I'm going to pick Texas.
Same. Look, it's not going to be a cakewalk, but I do think Texas is honestly, I think Texas might right now, just because of the freshness of that loss, be underranked because you lost the game in college football in 2024. Oh no. They lost the game to another highly ranked team, and they probably learned and grew from some of that experience of a really big chaotic week and game day and all those things. And just Ewers having some issues with a Georgia defense, like many a quarterback has had for years now, but they still came back and fought in that game. And I think they are still one of the top couple of teams in the country right now, and credit to Diego Pavia and those guys up in Nashville. I think, they're going to continue to prove themselves a problem for some teams here late October and into November, but I like Texas to go on the road and win.
And the line here is 18.5. I would smash Vanderbilt on the line. I don't think it's going to be a 20-point game. I don't know. Like 18.5 feels like a lot. I feel like it could be like maybe a 2-score game, but I don't think it's going to go to that 3 possession type scenario. I think this Vanderbilt team has showed that they will get up for these big games, especially in a place where fans are going to go. Maybe let's get a second set of field goal standee thingies, whatever those are called. What are they called? I don't know. Like the things that you kick.
The uprights and the crossbar and all that.
Yep. Let's get another one of those
field goal posts.
Yeah, there we go. Look at that. We're doing great today. I want to see another set of those in the river. I'm not going to pick for it, but if it happens, I'll be happy.
It'd be great. I think everyone is enjoying seeing Vanderbilt be a factor. For now, I think LSU fans in a couple of weeks are going to feel differently about that. But we watched how well that Vanderbilt coaching staff prepared those guys for that Alabama game. And that was a place where it was really picked apart after some of the schematic advantages that they were able to coach into that game that were really jarring to see Alabama struggle with. And so if you don't think that the Commodores coaches watched what Georgia did to create issues for Texas last week and made sure that they could kind of lean on some things there and play on that, then you're not paying attention to how well Vanderbilt is being coached and performing right now. So I think it's going to be interesting up there for sure. But again, I do think Texas is one of the top couple of teams in the country.
Yeah. And listen, thanks Vanderbilt for not just being the GPA boost that the SEC needed this year. We appreciate you doing a little bit more. So next up, ULM at South Alabama. 4 p.m. on ESPN Plus. The disrespect on ULM's name is real in this game. The line is 7. The ULM is underdog by 7 points. The matchup predictor has a 75% chance that South Alabama is going to win. And this ULM team has been rolling. They've been absolutely exceeding expectations. grinding out wins versus James Madison, and then absolutely taking Southern Miss to the tool shed, to the woodshed, they beat them badly.
There, yeah, there
um,
was a shed.
I don't see, and South Alabama is 3-4. They have a loss to LSU. They have a loss to Arkansas State. They can score. They put up 87 earlier this year versus Northwestern. Um, but I'm not going to pick against. It feels like everything is going right for University of Louisiana Monroe right now. So I'm not going to pick against the Warhawks and until they show signs of kind of slowing down or that they are going to have a falter. I can't go against them right now.
Yeah, I think I said it a week or so ago. I'm in on ULM right now, and just like you said, I'm going to continue to pick them until I'm shown a reason not to. I was a little bit hesitant on them early in the season, and they have continued to not only win me over but disprove critics and doubters every step of the way. I think this does present a challenge. You mentioned the 87 that South Alabama put up on Northwestern State earlier this season, as Northwestern State was trying to still I guess is trying to kind of find itself and adjust to a new era up there in Natchitoches. But the South Alabama team is a team that has put up big points on a lot of folks through the last few years. You know, and we'll see how that fares against now a ULM defense that has become as stingy as anyone in the Sun Belt. I think the equation has to look the recipe has to look very similar to what we've seen from ULM in recent weeks, where the defense has to be lights out and you're probably going to need a timely turnover or two that you can force. And I'm going to trust in that Warhawks team to go down there and get it done, get enough offense, a lights out defense, and some really big plays on defense to help kind of spark some things and get a win against the Jags.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, let's hope that happens. And then let's get to our last game.
How do the matchup predictors work? That's robots.
Yeah, I would assume. I think it's IBM Watson. If I had to guess. So,
Look, I'm sure the receipts will be kept because computers have a lot of memory and whatnot. But Watson just doesn't sound like a computer to me that knows ball.
it
You
doesn't.
know,
It doesn't. And like ball is life. And if you don't know it, then like you ain't about this life.
and our computers about like I don't know how I don't know.
Let's
About
not get into a
computers.
whole Terminator Skynet thing right now. I don't want to go if computers are about life.
I don't know enough about
Because
technology.
yeah, all I know is every time I've seen a movie and a computer gets to know humans, they just want to kill us all. So, yeah,
I'm sorry, Watson. I take it back.
yeah. We cool? We good? Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I said that wasn't me. That let's just remember that was him. All right.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
Yeah, I'm your friend. I love you. You help me in my fantasy sometimes. Lastly, we have the Saints are limping into a game.
Who?
Don't Dat limping into a game versus the Los Angeles Chargers. Chargers are 3-3. Saints have lost 5 in a row. I think it's going to be 6. I don't know if the addition of Marquez Valdez-Scantling is going to do too much, but I think it's going to be 6.
Well, the good news is this isn't one of those games where we're going to talk about the great home field advantage being a factor.
Yeah, it isn't. So
the bad news is there's not a lot of reason to expect that the Saints team gets right on the West Coast right now. Just
yeah,
they've been reeling through some of their injuries. They've got a dynamic at quarterback where they're waiting for a young guy to try and figure some things out on the fly behind a banged up offensive line, and so there's a lot going on there. And this is one that more than any other in this episode, I hope I'm wrong and that the Saints can get something going back the right direction. But yeah, it just doesn't feel like the right recipe for success this week.
Still, Pete Werner questionable. Colleen Sanders questionable. Lucas Patrick on the offensive line questionable. Connor McGovern.
How you just say Kalen Saunders' name?
Kalen Saunders. That's what I said. Don't come at me, bro, right now. All right. Cedric Wilson Jr. also questionable. Derek Carr out. Rashid Shaheed out. Alvin Kamara questionable. Everything is this season is just I'm over it. I'm over it. Go Pelicans. That's how I feel about this season. So we both picking Chargers there.
Yes, and also crediting you for the excellent segue
Yeah.
to
So
the Pelicans.
let's talk about that. The Pels went ahead and took care of business, 123 to 111 versus the Chicago Bulls last night. We'll just quickly go over this right now. I think the biggest takeaway, and I texted you about this last night, was Misi looked good. He played 23 minutes, put up 12 points. I think he had 7 boards, but he looked active. He wasn't getting, it's like Nikola Vucevic is not great of a defender, but also he's going to get down on the block and he's got some good post moves. And he did not look out of sorts or, too in over his head when he was down there fighting in the paint with Vucevic. So I thought that was the biggest takeaway for me. Also, sucks. DeJounte Murray, broken hand. It's probably going to be out a month or two. I don't know exactly what the timeline is on that. So that really sucked because he looked great in that point guard position. Like it was just so
Yeah,
nice to see him going up and down the court and really taking advantage of this. It shouldn't be a good Bulls team, but the Pelicans did what they needed to do. And in the second half, they took advantage of every kind of possession really that they had. They extended the lead and then they kept that lead. I will be interested to see if maybe we get some more Jordan Hawkins run, who played a lot last night. And maybe that's some good stuff. Obviously, Trey Murphy's going to come back and Zion is going to come back very soon. But overall, I thought besides the injury to Murray, I thought it was a really good showing for this first game.
yeah. Sadly, I think my biggest takeaway coming out of the night ends up being the DeJounte Murray injury, and that's going to be a problematic factor for this team moving forward because of how good he was, flirting with a triple double, 10 assists, 1 steal, just 1 turnover, and so the way that you're winning, just some dynamics in terms of the possession game there, where he's setting guys up for good looks and taking care of the ball and not giving the other team easy opportunities. And also his rebounding to be up there at 8 rebounds from a point guard spot for a team that is going to play small quite a bit. I think that factor of having a guard with some size that is committed to rebounding the ball is also really big. And so not having him moving forward is a really tough blow. A guy that we talked about in the summer, I was as excited about him as an addition to this team as I think I have been for any
Yeah.
trade target or free agent in a long time. All that said, agree with a lot of your takes from the game. I thought you saw some stretches of kind of what we talked about going into the season, where you saw moments where them not having someone big to protect the rim all the time kind of cost them, when the defense wasn't able to keep guys in front of them, and all of a sudden there's easy runs to the rim for easy baskets. But
Yeah, like
that, that
whenever Tice was in the game, like as soon as it got on the block to Vucevic, like he just did a little turnaround, and it was an easy shot for him. And like that's Nikola Vucevic, like that's not
yeah,
Embiid, that's not Joker, like that's not Anthony Davis, like that's going to be an issue
yeah.
going
You
forward,
saw
and there will
you
have to be a move to get some size.
you saw the ebbs and flows of it, of when you're throwing kind of a different look, a curveball type matchup dynamic at some folks. Sometimes it's going to go well, sometimes it's going to go poorly. Because on the flip side, they got in some passing lanes, created some easy opportunities for themselves, and were running the Bulls up and down the court for stretches of that second half. And so you saw kind of the concerns as well as kind of the potential just in different spurts of that game. And loved what we saw from Misi, as you said. That's really, really encouraging moving forward. But it is Vooch on the other side, not Joker or
Yeah,
Embiid, assuming Embiid's healthy at some point, and so on and so forth. The other guy I want to shout out too, Javonte Green was such a difference maker
dude,
when they were rolling in the second half, and
he
I
had
feel
some
like
monster dunks. It was great.
he's he's shaping up just from an energy standpoint and doing some of the hustle work and defense and just being everywhere all the time, all at once, to be kind of like your favorite Pelicans favorite Pelican type vibe where
Yeah.
he's just doing
Yeah.
stuff all the time to spark that team.
Absolutely. And also shout out to Lonzo Ball. Got on the court for the first time in 3 years. That was nice to see. Had 4 assists, 14 minutes, 5 points. Wish him the best. Just in a continued recovery going into that. So, last thing that we have to do. This is my favorite. This is my favorite thing. Is we got to announce the winner for the high school play of the week. All right. We've had some fun here today. It's been a very jovial episode, I think, but it's time to get down to business. All right. This week's winner of the high school play of the week, the PODnas high school play of the week. We're looking for sponsors if anyone would like to do that. If you would like to do that and have 8 people see it, then we would love for you to sponsor us.
If there are still PODnas barbecue anywhere that would like to put your name on it.
Oh man, I miss PODnas barbecue. Just shout out them. All right. Hey, our winner for play of the week is Trenton Cheney from Lutcher.
The big Cajuns commit with the big game in a top 5 matchup against E.D. White. Trenton Cheney with over 100 yards rushing, 7 yards receiving, three of his team's touchdowns, including the one that really kind of broke the game open there late.
That's
93 yards, elusive, tough through contact, bounce it outside, show off the track speed. They call him the X Factor for a reason, and we saw it on Friday night against E.D. White. Trenton Cheney, the play of the week.
Hey, congratulations, Trenton. We will have another set of plays next week. But if you would like to, you see something this weekend and you're like, hey, that was the play of the week. We want to get that on PODnas. Please reach out to us on our socials, PODnas_LA. You can go to Louisiana versus all y'all for YouTube and LA versus all y'all on Twitter. Send it to us. We will make sure that we get it up for the PODnas high school play of the week. That's all we got. We've taken way too long. I'm going to have to edit and do Kershaw stuff later. So I'm going to get out of here and start doing that. Jared, do you have anything for the people before we go?
Nope. That's it. Have a great weekend.
PODnas out. I should have sex more before we do recordings.